What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to do a head-up challenge with the TR50 Gen 1 and the TR50 Gen 2. Both of these have the same modification of a valve restrictor pulled out of the inside of the valve in the body. And for right now, they do not have a restrictor because I'm going to run them on the HPA tank. This HPA tank puts out about 800 psi, and it's about 73 degrees, or like 22.5 degrees Celsius, 73 Fahrenheit. It's like that temperature right now. I want to do the HPA first because it's not going to affect the the temperature of the handles and stuff. And then I'm going to install the CO2 restrictors and use CO2. I'm using Crossman CO2s, and I'm going to drop probably 2 drops of oil down these valves. And I have my MCS tank adapters, and this is like a fresh fill. This gauge always reads low, but it's pretty much at capacity right now, like 2600, but this is a 3000 psi tank. Like it can hold that much. So this just got topped off like 2 days ago, so this should be pretty much full. I haven't shot anything out of it. So I'm going to start with the Gen 1, and I'm going to use the Devastators. These are 4.6 grams. I just weighed a bunch of them inside the house, and yeah, they're pretty much 4.6 grams. Maybe like 1 or 2 was 4.7. So 4.6. These drums are well worked in, so they aren't that snug in here. I can pop them out, not super easily, but they're a lot better than a fresh magazine. So yeah, I'm going to use this same drum on this guy and on this guy to try to keep this like as even as possible. And then after these Devastators, I'll probably shoot 12 out of each marker on the HPA tank. And then I'm going to use the 2.7 gram aluminum balls from Alien Play. These are lighter weight. They're, you know, about 2 grams less than the steel ball with this sablot or whatever it's called. Little fins that are attached to the Devastators. So yeah, I'm gonna put oil, throw on the tank adapters, get the HPA ready to go, and have my chronograph. And yeah, I'm gonna start off with these. I'm using the same drum magazine in both markers just to keep it as even as possible. So I'll be right back. All right, you guys, I got the Generation 1 TR50 loaded up. It has the air tank attached to it. Turn my light. Air tank attached. It's pressurized. Again, 800 psi output. It's about 73 degrees out here, 22.5 Celsius. And I have the Devastators loaded up in here. You can see that red kind of coloring in there. And I'm going to use this same drum on both of the markers, just to try to keep this an even playing field where I'm not going to have any issues as far as a drum being too tight and kind of holding back the Devastators. So this is fully open, no restrictions, valve block delete, and no CO2 restrictor in the handle. And the reason it works this way is still a mystery to me, but when I have it hooked up to an airline and like double deleted restrictors, it works fine. I don't know why. I still don't know why. So this is the first shot. 334, and that's again a 4.6 gram Devastator. 342. 312. So that one could have been a little bit snug. 314. 324, and I will probably write all this stuff on a paper and do like a breakdown. And this is the last shot, I believe. 330. So I'm just gonna check my marker. So yeah, we're out. I'm going to grab those out of the box, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, this is the same Gen 1. Same Gen 1, same ammo, the MCS Devastators. I couldn't find one of them, so one of these is different, but they all pretty much weigh 4.6 grams. Same air setup, you know, airline, 800 psi, no restrictors. Same everything. I just want to get a little bit bigger of a data pool so I can sort of get a better idea of the powers and stuff. 330, 342, 314, 340, 342, 348, and I think that was the highest so far. I'm just checking the magazine, and yeah, we're out. So I'm going to degas this and get the Generation 2 and use the same drum magazine, and yeah, I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, I still have about 2000 psi, 2100, something like that, and I have it hooked up to my Generation 2 TR50. So I'm using the same drum magazine that I pulled from my Gen 1, and I'll see how this works. So HPA, same setup, same everything. Alright, you guys, I got the Gen 2 TR50 double delete, same exact setup as the Generation 1. MCS Devastators, same drum magazine, so you can't really say that this drum is too snug or whatever. I don't even know what this is going to do. So the only difference between these currently is I just maintenance this, even though it's brand new. I put grease and everything on the O-rings and all that, bolt spring, outside bolt, like exterior of the bolt, interior of the bolt, the valve. This has brand new everything. The other one, it's been a couple months since I've maintenanced it, so I'll see what this does. So I think 348 was the highest I got with the Gen 1, and 312 I think was the lowest I got, but I'll see what happens. 4.6 gram Devastators. 312, 304, 302. I don't know why this isn't strong, other than mine's worn in, so that could be one of the problems or issues. 0. So let me check my magazine. Alright guys, so the barrel spring popped off, but I was able to sort of quickly fix it. So this is, I'm back on the TR50 Gen 2, and so yeah, maybe that could have been affecting the speeds of those first 3 shots. So I have the other 3 shots loaded up in the drum right now, and I'm just going to continue firing. Hopefully I don't have any issues. 310. Alright, the barrel spring popped off again, but I'm able to fix it. I might have to take this one apart and remedy that. 312. And yeah, so you can see the barrel sticking out. It shouldn't be like that. So maybe I'll grab the other one. Alright, last shot. Same marker, last shot. 312. And barrel spring is out one more time. So I'm going to grab the other TR50 and then see if any of these numbers are different. Alright guys, that's the one that I need to fix the barrel spring just to make this test better. And this is the other one, still it's fully open. I'm going to run the HPA tank and everything. I'll do 6 rounds with the Devastators on the that second TR50. If these end up being like better than 312 and 302 and stuff, I'll use another magazine of 6. And this is the same drum that I've used on all the different TR50s. So yeah, this one I haven't shot it yet on this, so we'll see what it does. Alright you guys, TR50 Gen 2, the second one. Hopefully this barrel spring doesn't pop off, and if it does, then I know I have to fix it. So first shot, MCS Devastators, HPA tank, double deleted restrictors, pretty much like full power. 298. This barrel looks cool still. 302. The barrel's still okay. 324. So there's a little bump. This is the second TR50 Gen 2, 324, 318. So the only thing I can assume, just based off this like small amount of data I have, is that my Gen 1 has been used a good amount and everything's all worn in and like it's like good to go. This is the last shot. 304. But as I said in other videos, I could have like 50 of these, all exactly the same, and every single one will sort of behave a little bit differently. So yeah, there wasn't really, I mean, I got one shot at 324 on the Gen 2, but my old one was hitting 344, and I'm using the same ammo, I'm using the same drum, I'm using the same air supply. This air tank still has like 2000 psi, but yeah, I still want to try this. I'm gonna get my aluminum balls, load them in here, switch the air tank, do it on this one, use the aluminum balls, do 12 shots on each, and then I'll use CO2. All right, you guys, so for this time I'm going to use these two same drum mags on my TR50 Gen 1 and on the TR50 Gen 2. So I'll probably just do 12 shots in a row, and yeah, I'm going to be using these same exact drum mags. If I can't find the aluminum balls, I'll just pick another one, but it's most likely going to be the same aluminum balls and the same drum mags on this air tank setup. And I'm at about 1800 psi, 1600 psi. So yeah, I'll see what happens. All right, so I got my Gen 1 TR50 right here, and you know, same setup, and aluminum balls, just like how I said. So yeah, I'm gonna shoot these Chrono readings, and I'll write all the stuff down and show it at the end. 408, 408, 408, pretty consistent. 408, 410, 412, and I'm going to switch magazines really quickly. And yeah, this one's out, and then this is the second magazine. Aluminum balls, 2.7 grams. My barrel seems fine on the Gen 1. So next rounds, 408, 412, 410, 408, 410, and I think that's it. Oh no, I got one more round. All right, we're good. 406. So I'm gonna grab the Generation 2. I'm gonna use the same drums, and I'm gonna probably use the same balls unless I can't find them. So I'll let you guys know if I switch out any of the balls. Alright guys, I got my other tank. This is still the same 800 psi output. It's just a big ass tank. So the other one still has good enough amount of pressure, but I feel like halfway through the magazines it's gonna run out of air. So it's at about 1100. Sorry, the glare from the flashlight is screwing that up. So it's not, I mean, I could probably get the 12 rounds I want to shoot out of it, but I'd rather just use this so I know that it's not going to dip below 800 psi, because once it goes below 800 psi it's going to affect the speed. So once again, same output pressure, 800 psi. It's just a brand new topped off tank, and this is ridiculous to me because I only did 36 shots out of this and it's already like out. So it uses so much air, it's ridiculous. Anyways, I'm gonna load up these same drum mags. These are all the same balls. I found all of them out of the box. Same balls, same drum mags that I used in this one. Generation 2 TR50, and yeah, same setup. I'll be right back. You guys, I got the Gen 2 TR50 aluminum balls in here, air tank attached, you know, no restrictor in the handle or in the valve. So this is pretty much fully open. I just want to see by doing these shots with the Devastators and the aluminum balls, with this thing pretty much cranking out full power, is there a difference? And then I'm going to put the CO2 restrictor in there and use 12 gram cartridges, because that's pretty much what most people are going to use this for, like mobile instead of with this ridiculous setup. 396, 406. So maybe those Devastators, since my first TR50, the barrel popped off, they could be a little bit snug in the barrel since I haven't used this very much, which they are kind of big for the drum. So I'll probably have to wear these in or tell my brothers to shoot the aluminums for a while first. Or I'll have to shoot the aluminums through these for a little bit to wear out the barrel a little bit. So it could just be because it's so snug. 402, because these are performing almost the same. 406, like a 10 FPS difference isn't that much because of the weight of these balls. 400. So in this instance, it's probably really close, but with the Devastators, since they're kind of large, it is sort of affecting, you know, the pressure in the barrel and it popping out on my first TR50, or I just reassembled it kind of shittily. I'm not sure, but I had to fix that. So 402, I'll probably just do the CO2 test with the aluminum balls, because that's primarily what I use in this thing. 400, 402, 406, 402, and I think that's it. Oh, one more. So yeah, I'm gonna shoot this last shot and then get the CO2, put the restrictors in, use a 12 gram, and get back at it. 400. So yeah, that'll conclude this part of the test, and I'm gonna, you know, use CO2 and all that stuff next. What's up, guys? So I just took this faulty one apart, and I was kind of looking at what was going on with it, and it looks like the valve O-ring tore just a tiny bit, and I lost the footage. I think I hit the record button at the wrong time, so everything I didn't want to record was being recorded, and everything I did want to record did not record. So that was a brain fart by me, but can you see that little tear right there? I don't know if my camera will focus very good. You can kind of see that it's not like perfectly smooth on that O-ring on the end of the valve. It should look like nice and circular shaped like that. And then right there's like a blemish. So for some reason my valve O-ring got snagged, and I never messed with the firing pin. So I don't know if something happened to it. It looks fine to me. Like I don't see like a burr or like a random snap or anything on there. And when this thing malfunctioned on me, I was using a normal CO2 with the restrictor in the handle. So I'm gonna mess with this. The valve, the barrel spring looked like it was okay. But yeah, I have to mess with this. I'm glad it messed up on me while I have it, so that if I gave it to my brother, it doesn't screw up on him and he actually needs to use it. And then he's just like standing there with a hissing air gun that doesn't want to fire. So I'm glad it broke on me like before I gave it to him. So yeah, I have to pull that out. I think I have replacements that will fit this. And anyways, I'll show you the data from that video. All right, so this is the TR50 Gen 1 on the HPA tank, double deleted. That's the temperature. This was the Devastators. This is the speeds it was hitting and the joules. This was on the tank, so it's not really going to have like a huge variation or a drop off in speed because it's on a big old tank. So the highest I got was 25.88 joules, and the lowest I got was 20.80 joules. So just kind of, quick math, average was like 22.5 joules, basically like the midpoint between 20.8 and 25.88. So yeah, it performed pretty damn well for the Gen 1. But like, I feel like I've used it so much that the barrel's broken in, and like I've shot the steel ball bearings out of it, and I've shot these Devastators out of it before, and I've shot like a lot of the aluminum rounds through it. So I feel like that's probably why it performed better. I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't know like a definite answer, like 100% that is the answer. I don't know that. But I'm just going to assume that since I used the crap out of it, the barrel's worked in, and the spring to return the bolt is slightly weaker than a brand new spring. So that was all the MCS Devastators. This was the aluminum balls. The Gen 2 and the Gen 1 performed pretty similar with the aluminum balls. Mine was very consistent at like 408 a lot. So out of 12 shots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, half of them were at 408, and then it went up to 412, and it went as low as 406. So from 406 to 412, it's only like a 6 FPS difference between the lowest shot and the fastest shot. Meanwhile, the Devastators, 312 was the lowest and 348 was the highest. So there was like a 36 FPS difference in the speeds. Mine also could have had the same issue with the barrel spring coming loose. So maybe that's why this one was a little bit low and that one was a little bit low, and like this one was a little bit low. But for the most part, they were kind of averaging like 330 FPS, like right in between the 312 and 348. So for me, that's pretty good. I haven't used my Gen 1 like that, like a speed test and stuff, for a minute. So it was cool to see that. This is the Gen 2. This was the first one. It was having the problems with the barrel spring popping off, and then now I have a tear in the O-ring. So this is what it did. Pretty much stayed around 20 joules. The low was 19.4. The speed was 302 low side and 312 on the high side. But I can't really use that data because I was having issues with the marker itself. So this was the second one that worked perfectly fine. The low was 18.98 joules. The speed was 298 with the Devastators. And then it went up to 324 for one shot at 22.4 joules. So it's pretty close to my Gen 1, sort of. Like, it's only like 1 or 2 joules off. Like, for an average speed, average joules, it's only like off by like 1 joule. But that could be because the barrel is not broken in on these, and the spring, the return spring for the bolt, is not broken in. So it's like everything's super snug and like really tight. And once you work them in, once you shoot them a lot, they kind of like these speeds will kind of adjust a little bit once a few hundred rounds are shot through it. That's what I'm trying to say. This was the aluminum balls. So the lowest was the first shot at 396 on the HPA tank on the Generation 2 TR50, and the highest it got was 406. So from the lowest to the highest was only 1 joule difference. So it was pretty much consistently getting like 20.1 joules if you just go by the average, because they were all like 19.6, 20.6, 19.8, 20.2, 20.6, 20.0, 20.2, 20.0, 20.2. And HPA is a really good way to just kind of get a baseline off of most of your markers, because it's consistently putting out 800 psi, and temperature doesn't affect it as much as CO2. I would have used my CO2 tanks, but like the big tanks, the 20-ounce tanks, but since it's not warm and I wanted to try to just get like consistent data from these, I figured the HPA tank would be the better move to go with. And when I shot the CO2 12 grams, like I said earlier, I screwed up when I was recording, and I recorded everything I didn't want to record, like me reloading magazines and switching out switching out air sources and all that stuff. I recorded all that, and I didn't record the actual firing. So that was a brain fart by me. But pretty much when I did that with the Gen 1 and the Gen 2, I was getting when I was doing it with this one on a 12 gram CO2 with the restrictor in the handle and the valve block removed, and just, the basic way you would want to run this if you're using it like a concealed carry or you have it with you like mobile. I was pretty much getting like a high speed of like 344 with the aluminum balls, which is around 15 joules. And then it was going down to about 330 on the first magazine. So that's probably like 14 and a half joules, something like that. And then the second mag was like 330 first shot, and then the last shot was around like 310 or 308. So it was getting down to like 12 joules toward the end of the second mag, and then the third magazine, this one kind of ran out of gas after the third shot on the third magazine. So 15 shots in, it was getting like 7 joules or 6 joules. Like it slowed down a lot. The Generation 2 black marker, not the one over there that's all torn up, but the one that worked fine, it got a high of about 346 on the first shot with CO2, and then it steadily went down. They performed almost the same. The Generation 2, at the end of the third magazine, it had a little bit more gas left. So the last like 3 shots on this gray one were like 242, 210, and then like 184. And the last 3 shots on the Generation 2 one were like 280, 260, and then like 240. So it had more speed at the end. And I don't know why exactly. That's just how it performed tonight. I may do another video with the CO2s. Hopefully I can fix my other one before Christmas time comes around. And so yeah, on CO2 with the aluminum balls, they perform pretty similar. But on the HPA tank and the MCS Devastators, that's where I saw the biggest difference. And I think that's just because the barrel isn't worn in and the springs aren't worn in. And my Generation 1, everything's worn in, and like I've used the crap out of it. So that could be the reason. I don't know 100% why it was higher on my Generation 1, because I was using the same drums and I was using the same air source. So that kind of ruled that out. I was even using the same balls and the same ammo. Like I just pull them up out of my shooting box and use the same ones as long as they weren't cracked or had any visible defects or anything on them. And they were pretty much fine because I was trying to shoot in different areas in my box. So yeah, they're almost the same. I think if you have a worn-in TR50, if you have one that's like kind of worn in, it'll probably perform slightly better than a brand new one. But I'm not going to have these Gen 2s for very long, so I'm not going to be able to run like hundreds and hundreds of rounds through them to see what they're at. But pretty much on an airline, you'll get like 20 joules out of it, or like 24, 25 if yours is like broken in and worn in and it has a lot of shots going through it. And if you're on an airline, you'll get like around 20 joules with the aluminum balls. And with both of them, you'll get around 20 joules with the aluminum balls with the Generation 2 or the Generation 1. But if you're using a CO2 cartridge, 12 gram CO2 in the handle, probably like 15 to 16. If it's a warm day, you might get like 17 or 18 joules at the high speed, and then it's going to consistently go lower and lower and lower. But you can get about 3 magazines, so 18 shots out of it. Yeah, I would probably recommend like having, if you want to carry this, have one in there and then 2 magazines in your pocket, 2 drums in your pocket full already, and then you can just kind of like do that. And yeah, because you're gonna have to take time to replace the CO2 and then reload and all that stuff. So you're more likely probably just gonna use 1 magazine in like an actual emergency situation. You probably just use 1 magazine and then like try to get out of whatever you're in. So anyway, in this video, this one did work better on the HPA with the MCS Devastators, but across the CO2 and using aluminum balls, they're pretty much like even. So yeah, I'll try to make another video using CO2. Hopefully I can fix that other one that's broken. And if I do make another video with CO2, hopefully I don't break the one that works. So see you guys next time.